Hello everyone, this is my first review video for February 2021, so it's week 1. Sorry that this is a bit late, but I have been quite busy this week. I know obviously we're in lockdown, but I've had other stuff to do, I've had work to do, so I haven't been able to make this video until this point, but I will upload this as soon as I've finished recording. Not as many films this last week because I've obviously, as I said, I've been quite busy and I've had other stuff to do, so I've not been able to watch as many as I would have liked to. I've still watched a few. I've only watched, I think, 2 new ones, but those are the first 2 and we'll go through them. But I don't want this video to go on for too long, so I'm just going to get straight into it. So first off, I watched a film that is not yet out in the UK, but I managed to watch it on Fire Stick, called The Little Things. So this stars three Academy Award winners. So it's got Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto in. So going into this, I was really looking forward to it because I do like a good crime drama, and this wasn't your typical crime drama. Plus the fact that you've got 3 Academy Award winners headlining this, I was sold instantly. So I had to watch this, and it was a good film. It wasn't brilliant. It wasn't the best. It wasn't as good as it could have been, considering, well, this, I think it's probably because the script's been in limbo for 30 years, so since like the 90s, so they haven't done anything with it until now because they haven't been able to. But I think it came a bit too late, to be honest, and I think the script could have done with a rewrite, because the ending was a bit disappointing because it's quite an ambiguous ending. It's not very clear. You have to make your own mind up as to what happened. But if you are interested in this type of film, like in a crime drama, or you just seen the trailers or anything for this, I would still recommend checking it out because it is still a good film. It is definitely worth watching. I don't doubt it will be on my best of the year list come the end of the year. Could be in my honourable mentions. It might be in my best of the year list, but I gave it a 4 stars, so I don't know. It was a good film. As I said, I do recommend checking it out. But yeah, that's The Little Things. And next up, I watched another new one called Palmer with Justin Timberlake. So I'd seen the trailer for this. I think it was early December. It came out and it looked quite interesting. It's about the story of a man he's just come out of prison for something that he did in his youth, and he goes back to live with his grandmother. And after various things happen, he has to look after a young boy, and this young boy is a bit different. He wants to be, well, I don't know if he wants to be a girl, but he does a lot of things that girls would do. Like he likes dressing up in princess costumes, likes watching girl TV shows, and it's just this man trying to cope with life after being released from prison, as well as having to look after this young child. And I thought it was very well done. The acting from Timberlake was brilliant, some of his best, I think. Whilst I don't think this would be eligible for Oscars as it didn't have any sort of cinema run, it was still a very good performance, and if it was eligible, I would definitely think that he would be at least nominated, because he at least deserves a nomination. It's a very compelling story. I was very interested in it, and I would highly recommend checking out this if you can. It is available on Apple TV Plus now, but if you have other means like I have, you can also watch it. Some of these films that are on, this is probably another video I do, but I think there's a lot of films that are only available on streaming services that could warrant a physical release because they are of another level, like this. We've obviously got the upcoming Cherry with Tom Holland. I think that would be good to come out physical some point down the road. And stuff from Netflix like Extraction and stuff like that. I mean, you can get releases, but they're not legit. But I think they do deserve, some of them, a legit release. But I'll get into that in another video I might do at some point. But yeah, that's Palmer, and I gave that 4.5 stars because I thought it was exceptional and it was a very good film that I recommend checking out. Next up, I watched one that for some reason I've just missed completely over, and I've seen a lot of classic Nicolas Cage films like Face Off and The Rock. I've not seen Con Air yet. Those era of Nicolas Cage really cheesy action films. So I wanted to check out Gone in 60 Seconds, which is one of the last films that he did for Disney slash Touchstone in 2000, because he had a run of... Well, I suppose he did do the National Treasure films, but they weren't Touchstone, whereas The Rock and Face Off and Con Air and this were all Touchstone, which is what I'm saying when I say this was the last of his films for Disney slash Touchstone. It was an enjoyable film. I liked the plot, but the one nitpick I have with it is for some reason they cast, I know she wasn't as big back then, but they cast Angelina Jolie in quite an insignificant role for her. It was like it was more of a supporting role, even though she's advertised as more of a leading role alongside Nicolas Cage, but it was very much more a supporting role, which is why I don't think I think someone else should have been in that role, or they should have made it very clear how big that role was instead of headlining it as a lead role. It was still a good film. I really enjoyed the story about having to steal cars. In 24 hours, they had to steal. I can't remember exactly how many, but it was a lot. I think it was around 50 cars they had to steal. And if you like these types of Nicolas Cage films and you've not seen this yet, I would recommend checking it out. It's not one of the best films I've ever seen, but it's a nice, cheesy action film that you can just relax to and turn your mind off. And I gave it 3 stars for that very reason. Next up, because I was going through my Blu-rays that I had not yet seen, and I came across one called Stand Up Guys, which stars Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, and Alan Arkin, and I thought, well, that's a good cast, and I liked the sound of the premise, so I thought I'd check it out because it was only an hour and a half and had time to spare. So I wasn't expecting loads from this going in, but I was actually very pleasantly surprised. It's actually a very enjoyable film. If you like the subject of 3 men that used to be like thieves, they don't actually rob anything in this, not really, but it's about them coming back together after a certain amount of years because one of them has been in prison for something that they did. As I said, it's quite short, 90 minutes, which is, it suits that time. I don't think it should have been any longer. I was very invested with the story, with the acting was excellent from all 3, even though one of them isn't in it as much as the other 2. I still think it's a great film. I enjoyed the ending, even though it could have been a bit better. It was disappointed, as with the little things. The ending was quite ambiguous and unclear, and it could have been made a little bit more clear, but I suppose that was the whole point. But I would recommend checking it out if you've not seen it and you have it available to you. And I gave it 3.5 stars. That is Stand Up Guys. Next up, I watched... Hang on, I scrolled too far up. I'm going off of my Letterboxd reviews. I watched probably, so far, the highlight of the month, and that is Southpaw. And I just thought it was an excellent film with outstanding performances from both Jake Gyllenhaal and Forest Whitaker. It's about a story about a man who's a boxer, and something tragic happens which causes him to lose his daughter to the Child Protective Services, and he has to basically work his life back up. He's like lost everything, and he has to work his life back up and get back to where he was before to make his get his daughter back. Not just that, but to also get his life back on track. And whilst I've not seen, surprisingly, I've not seen Rocky or any of the well, I've seen the Creed films, but I've not seen any of the Rocky films, and I've not seen Raging Bull, which this is compared to. I personally think out of all the boxing films I have seen so far, this is my favourite, or definitely also one of my favourite films. It's a great film. I'd highly recommend it if you've not seen it. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who did the Equalizer films and the remake of The Magnificent Seven, amongst other things. I gave it 5 stars because I just thought it was an exceptional film. And if you like boxing films, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Next up, I rewatched, this is my only rewatch so far this month, I rewatched The Bucket List, which obviously stars Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman as 2 men who are dying terminal cancer, so decide to make a bucket list and complete some of those things on the bucket list. And at the start they don't really get on with each other, but then they create a really close friendship, and I just think it's a great film because of the chemistry between Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and it has just a very good balance of tear-jerking moments as well as comedy. So it's got a good balance, and it's a nice, warm family film. Although it's not really a family film, but it is. It's a nice film to watch, though. It's short again, only 90 minutes, and it's a very engaging story. And it's just nice to see what happens in between well, from them getting their terminal diagnosis to the end of their lives. It's very good. Um, I don't really think it's spoilers because if you know, even if you haven't seen the bucket list, that is what it is about, and that's just a brief synopsis. Even though I've not really gone over the synopsis, but anyway, I really enjoyed this film, and I gave it 4 stars. I think I liked it more the second time because I've not seen it for a while, so I wanted to rewatch it, and I liked it more this time watching it. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out if you've not seen it. Next up, this is the last on my Letterboxd, but I have seen one of the films since, which I will also briefly talk about. Well, off my Letterboxd review, I'll just briefly talk about the other film. But next, I watched Australia, and I'm a big fan of Baz Luhrmann. One of my favourite films is Moulin Rouge, and I really did enjoy the new Great Gatsby with DiCaprio. And I went into this, and I knew it was like almost 3 hours long. It's 2 hours 45 minutes, and I thought the subject would be quite boring. But it is, one word I would use to describe it is an epic. It is a mix of all genres. It's an adventure, it's a romance, it's a western, it's a war, it's a drama. It's got comedy in it. It's just it is what an epic is basically, and it's very long. And like I said, I thought it was going to be quite boring, but I was actually really engaged in the story. Whilst it is very long, I did think the story was very good, and I like to see these characters as they go on a journey, each of them. It's about a woman that's like, I don't know if I think she's a lady in England, and she comes over to Australia to see what her husband's doing because he's got a cattle farm, I think, and she basically has to go and do what they call, I don't know what they call it, I've forgotten what they call it, where they basically take a drove, where they take all the cattle and take them somewhere to sell them. And Hugh Jackman's character is called Drover. It's not clear whether that is his actual name or whether that is just a name given to him. But I thought the acting was brilliant in this, and the score was exceptional, and the cinematography was just beautiful. Just seeing the landscape of Australia. Apologise for that sunlight. The sun has just shone through my window. Um, but yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out if you've not seen it. I mean, a lot of people like myself put off watching it because of the runtime and because of the subject basis. But I really liked it, and I don't see any reason why if you don't give it a go, you won't know if you like it or not. So that's Australia, which I gave a 4.5 stars. Yeah, and then the last thing I watched, which I just watched yesterday, which, as I say, I haven't written a review up for it yet, was 12 Years a Slave. Obviously, this won Best Picture in 2014. Obviously, it came out in 2013, but it was at the 2014 Academy Awards. But obviously, it'd been really hyped up as being one of the best films of the year, a great film, something you can't miss. So I thought, obviously, I had to check it out, and I have it on Blu-ray now, so I did so. But to me, I just thought it was good. Nothing special. I've seen the type of film before. I thought it was good. Not great like everyone else is saying. Just good. It was a good film. I understand why people think it was great. But of all the other films that were nominated for Best Picture that year, I would have probably chosen a film which I watched last week, Dallas Buyers Club, because I thought the story was stronger, and I just thought, for me, it was a better done film, better made film. But nonetheless, 12 Years a Slave is still a good film about a slave who is, as in the title, a slave for 12 years, and he's trying to get his freedom, but he has to just do it, get on with what he is told to do, and he has various different owners. But yeah, I think the acting was really good from everyone in this. I thought it was quite slow and it did drag a bit, but it was still a very good film, and I thought it was well done. So I would probably still give it a 4 stars, but I would. It's probably to most people like a 5-star film, but I've dropped it a star because I don't think it reaches the hype that it has. But yeah, it's still a good film that I would recommend watching if you haven't seen it. So yeah, and that is everything that I have seen this last week, just over a week, because obviously this should have been done on Friday, but I forgot. And I actually do have another video which I made a while ago that was supposed to go up last Wednesday that will now go up this Wednesday, all being good, which is, as I probably stated in one of my last videos, it's top 20 films I would like to own on Blu-ray or 4K, depending on which format they are available on in the UK. But yeah, that's everything for this video. I don't know, as I say, my next video I've already made. I should be back on track this week, so you should get another review video on Friday. There may be less films because obviously I've gone up all the way up to Sunday, yes, which is yesterday when I'm filming this. But this video will go up straight away now. So yeah, that's everything. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like so I know that I'm doing good. If you didn't, you can still dislike it. Still shows that if I'm doing stuff good or bad. Also leave a comment down below. Let me know anything you would like to see me do, any videos you'd like me to see me make. And any feedback on this video, any films that you've seen out of the films that I've watched or haven't seen but would like to see. And make sure if you want to see more videos to subscribe and also turn the notification bell on so you know when I've got a new video, because I do them all over the place. Usually I like to do Friday and a Wednesday, and if I've got a haul of the month, I usually do that the first day of the month. I don't think I did this month because, as I say, I've been quite busy, but I'm going on a bit too much now, so I'm just going to end the video there. I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Goodbye.